I'm gonna keep thinking about it, and my God, I'm gonna get a baby this week. I don't need Hey, how are you? My name is Cassandra, and this is where I respond to things on the internet for my entertainment and yours. If that tickles your pickle, then go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Today, I'm feeling pretty meh. I didn't get out of bed until like 1:30, maybe even 2 o'clock today, even though I'd been awake for ages. Which is pretty annoying. Yeah, as you may know already, I have ADHD and I'm still kind of in the phase of experimenting with medication and whatnot. I didn't take it today, and I really struggle so much more on days where I don't take my ADHD medication. Even just getting out of bed, like everything is so much more difficult. So yeah, like I have stuff that I want to record, and like I just can't really seem to be able to get into it. So yeah, that's a lesson for me. I need to take my medication more often. But as I say, I'm still in that experimentation phase. And yes, so these videos seem to help me, so I'm gonna record one of these videos and then hopefully I can get into some of the other stuff that I want to do today. Cool. So let's go to our trusty Reddit today. And we can take a look at Am I the Asshole? Okay, am I the asshole for telling my daughter subliminal messages can't get her pregnant? I'm intrigued. Okay, my daughter, let's just call her Tara, 26 female, identifies as an asexual, and we are truly happy for her, and we have accepted Tara when she came out to us. However, for the past 3 years, she's been wanting to have a baby rather desperately. However, when I suggest that she goes to the sperm bank or have a male friend to be a donor, she shuts it down and says she can be pregnant from the power of her mind. Okay. She's been listening to the binaural beats on conception. I don't know what that is. Another YouTube video that sends subliminal messages of manifesting pregnancy without intercourse. I keep trying to tell Tara that it's just biological fact that she needs sperm to be pregnant, and she insists this is me not believing in the power of her mind. Here's where I feel I was really the asshole. I told her to stop listening to these videos, and that is never going to work, and every time I bring it up, we end up in a shouting match and she leaves. She gives me the silent treatment for weeks until she starts talking to me again like nothing ever happened. My husband tells me to leave Tara alone and let her listen to these videos if she's not hurting anyone by doing so, and in time, he feels she'll save up enough money for a sperm donor and have the baby she truly desires. He also believes that Tara is listening to these videos to hold out on hope for a miracle to happen, and that there is nothing wrong in believing in miracles. So I await my judgment. Am I the asshole? This one is really interesting. Wow, okay. Wow. Okay, so first things first. So Tara, the person in question who is asexual, she is 26 years old, female, and she wants to have a baby. She really wants a child, but she's asexual, which means that she's like not interested in sex and other sort of physical contact. And she has it in her mind. I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to laugh in a disrespectful way, but she has it in her mind that she can get pregnant by just, I don't know, sending out signals from her brain or something, and by watching YouTube videos that send out subliminal messages. She thinks this will miraculously impregnate her. Okay, so how do I even tackle this? I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, come on. But then again, you know, when you try not to be judgmental, we try not to be mean about stuff, let's try and think about things from her perspective. The other thing that comes to my mind, Jesus. The fucking Bible. Okay, I'm not a religious, godly person myself, but you know, there are people who believe that Jesus was conceived without his mum and father / God having to bang. Do you know what I mean? And what the thing is, right, what I find really interesting and what's always kind of fascinated me, right, and again, you know, no judgment at all, like, I'm not saying this to try and like judge or offend anyone, so I hope that it's not taken that way, but what has always been really fascinating to me is how people can believe in the Bible and that story of Jesus being conceived without, you know, his parents needing to have any sort of sex or physical contact of any kind, how people can believe that that's true and that's real, but things like aliens or magic or whatever is like stupid and ridiculous and that's not real, like it's somehow on a different level to people. Whereas to me, it's not that different, to be honest. So like what I'm getting at, right, like, and this person, OP, has not said anything about religious beliefs or whatever, but just in my mind, I'm thinking like, you know, I'm not religious myself, but if people want to believe in something, if believing in like a god or spirits or some other power, whatever, if that makes them happy, they're not doing anyone else harm, they're not pushing it on other people, I'm like, you know what? If that improves your life, if, you know, that gives you something nice without taking away anything from anyone else, that's fine. You know, I'm not going to interfere with that. I'm not going to get in away with that. You have what you want. So this, on the one hand, sounds a little bit like that, and that seems to be that what the dad, OP's, I think, husband, is also saying. Yeah, my husband tells me to leave Tara alone. She's not hurting anyone by doing so, blah, blah, blah. So that seems to be the kind of, like, way of thinking that he's going down in terms of, like, look, let the kids play kind of thing, you know. If she wants to listen to these videos, if she thinks she's going to get pregnant that way, then leave her to it. Where I think it's problematic, and I think maybe this is where OP, the mum, is coming from, there are two aspects that, you know, are in my mind right now after having thought about it for like all 3 minutes. One is that OP, the mother, knows that her daughter really wants to have a baby. And she wants to support her in that, which is great, that's really nice. Additionally, she also understands what it means to be asexual and that her daughter is asexual, and she also supports her with that, and she wants her daughter to be happy. Where she's obviously having a disconnect is between those two things, and she's like, honey, if you want to go have a baby, that's great, but you do know that at some point there has to be sperm, right? Like, she's not saying, you know, from this post, she's not saying like, hey, you gotta go, you know, find some dude and go get in the sack with him. She's not saying that. She's just like, you know, you might have to hop down to a sperm bank at some point. Her daughter's like, no, I'm just gonna watch these YouTube videos. I'm just gonna like think about it and then it will happen. One thing about that is, you know, the mother wants Tara to be happy, and she knows for a fact that she's not going to be able to achieve her goal based on science and facts, and we've talked about science on this channel before, okay? Science is science. So the mum knows that the daughter's means to her desired end is not realistic. So she's trying to help her out in that way, for one thing. You know, she wants to help her achieve what she wants to achieve and avoid disappointment, right? The other thing that I find problematic is, again, this scientific thing. And again, you know, there's all, you know, the great debate between like science and religion, stuff like that. Like, again, OP has said nothing about religion in this one, but it's just what comes to mind, okay? It's just what comes to mind. And, you know, even if you are religious, it doesn't mean that you don't believe in any sort of science, you know? Like, it's a known thing, and I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really know anything about religion. I believe that even people who are religious understand that there needs to be an egg and there needs to be sperm in order for humans to make babies. And again, OP isn't saying like you need to, you know, you're asexual, that's great, but you're gonna have to have sex at least once. She's not saying that. She's just like, you need sperm. So where that also troubles me is that, like, what else does Tara believe in? What else does she think is possible? I mean, if it was possible to become pregnant or to impregnate somebody else by the power of the mind in YouTube videos, like, that would be very dangerous. You know, you'd have like every fucking, you know, person who is capable of you know, becoming pregnant watching these videos being like, oh shit, all of a sudden I'm pregnant, you know, like, oh, someone sent me this video for a laugh, oh my god, now I'm pregnant, like, you know. And then of course there's other people who, they want to become pregnant, they want to have a baby, and you know, they are doing the things either by sex or whatever to try and become pregnant, and they can't, you know, for whatever reason. So it's kind of insulting and upsetting to me, just the idea of like, oh well, if you thought about it harder, or if you'd bothered to watch these YouTube videos, then you would be able to manifest a baby if you really wanted it. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't like that. And then, as I say, then it's also like, what else does she believe in? What else does she think is possible? Because if she has either managed to convince herself of this, or potentially even worse, if someone else has been able to convince herself that this is possible, I would be seriously worried about what else she could be manipulated into believing, and how that could actually really end up endangering her and potentially other people. That's where my real concern comes in here. So as I say, this one is so interesting, like, it has so many dimensions, so many elements and stuff like that. And what I'm not really buying here as well, like, what I'm not convinced about is the husband, Tara's dad, is saying she'll save up enough money for a sperm donor eventually and have the baby she truly desires. But she's not saying like, oh, I'm not going to a sperm bank because I don't have money. She's saying, no, wait, I can do it with my mind. So I don't really see how just in time she's suddenly gonna like turn around and say, oh, you know, I just happen to have been saving this money this whole time, and now that I've saved up enough, I no longer believe in manifesting babies, and I'm gonna go to sperm bank. Do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't add up for me. I think maybe the dad is maybe going the other way and trying to protect her more emotionally in the right now than what the mum is doing, in terms of trying to support her and protect her, I think, on a more general level, both in terms of reach and time. Because as I say, like, she might feel like she's fine and happy now, but in 6 months, 6 years or whatever, when, yeah, no shit, she doesn't manage to like magic herself a baby without any sperm, she's gonna be disappointed then, right? And she's 26 now, but who knows how long she'll wait and what sort of, you know, what her biological situation is. But I don't know, maybe she can't afford to wait. We don't know that. So is OP the asshole here for telling her daughter that subliminal messages can't get her pregnant? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, you know, there's ways to say things and to deliver a message. Like, you can still be tactful, you know, you don't have to say something, like, even if the message that you're delivering is not nice, you don't have to say it in an asshole way. You know what I mean? Like, you can still say it in a way that's like trying to help the person. So I think that would be the real key here. In OP's own words, I told her to stop listening to these videos, and that is never going to work. So that's pretty short. Like, I don't know whether that's the actual words she's saying, or if, you know, she's being a little more gentle than that. But she says that every time she brings it up, they end up in a shouting match. So she's obviously brought it up multiple times, and then the situation escalates. And then the daughter gives her the silent treatment for weeks, but then acts like nothing ever happened. So the daughter clearly then also values the relationship with the mother. She doesn't want to not be speaking to each other, but, you know, she believes what she believes in. They disagree. So I don't think OP, the mother, is an asshole for telling her daughter the truth. Again, the delivery of the message definitely has an impact on how dickish she was being. What would I do now if I was in that situation? Because OP has clearly communicated to the daughter several times and it's not going in. So what should she do now? I think if I was in that situation, if I was in OP's situation, I would try one more time. And I would really make that like a sit down, heart to heart kind of conversation, you know? So not that the daughter comes in and she's, still watching the end of a video and then mum goes like, oh God, are you watching those videos again? You know that's never going to work, right? Like, not like that, but just, to, deliberately sit down with her and be like, look, honey, I know that, you really want to have a baby and you've been listening to these videos and whatever and blah, 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 blah. I would, have that conversation from the kind of place where it's not like, you're being ridiculous, what are you doing, girl, you're stupid. Like, not like that, because that's not going to help and it's not going to... Like, when has making someone feel like they're stupid ever made them be like, oh, wow, yeah, thank you so much. Now I'm going to listen to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is obviously a deeper thing for Tara, for the daughter. And so, yeah, coming at it from a more caring place is definitely important. Being like, I know you really want to have a baby and I really want to support you with that. And, I know you listen to these videos and stuff like that. And like, I know we disagree on those and that's okay. I just really want to ask you to reconsider your options and just, really think about, might it make sense to also go to a sperm bank? Might it make sense to also speak to one of your close male friends, So not to be like, just cut that shit out and stop it, because, I believe it's, and again, I'm not a fertility expert, but I believe that it's also a thing that, for example, if someone is trying to have a baby and they're like super stressed out and worried, that sort of affects the hormones and everything like that, and then that makes it harder for them to get pregnant. Whereas if they, just kind of relax and it'll happen when it happens and stuff like that, then like apparently that's supposed to make, the body just more relaxed and the hormones are more balanced and then it's more possible. Again, I don't really know, I'm not a scientist or a doctor, that's just what I've heard. So in that sense, these power of the mind and whatever, it could help her, but it definitely, do you know that way, like, when you're cooking, it helps to have a really good non-stick frying pan, but you still need food, you still need ingredients. You can't just buy the pan and think you're going to magic up a meal, you need to buy the ingredients too. So, I would maybe try that approach, be like, look, I'm not telling you to stop doing these things, but I really want you to be able to have the baby that you want. So, and of course as well, like, adoption is always an option as well. I don't know why people always people seem to, they think adoption is a last resort, but anyway, that's kind of off topic. But just to be like, I want you to have the things that you want. And so, I would really think it's a really good idea for you to reconsider, some of the other things that you can also do that I think, are really going to help you to get what you want. And, if you're unsure, like, I can help you with that and we can look together and, I can come with you to the appointments and stuff like that. And, try and be more supportive and understanding that way. And if she's like, Mum, stop. Like, I'm gonna keep watching these videos, I'm gonna keep thinking about it, and my God, I'm gonna get a baby this way, I don't need sperm, If that's her response, then I would be like, okay, I personally don't think that will work, but if that's what you want to do, if that's what you believe, then that's fine and I respect that. You know what I mean? Because she's a grown-ass woman. She needs to be able to make her own choices and stuff like that. But as I say, then there are some dangers there, and I do just worry about the circumstances under which she's come to believe that that's possible, and then what other things she might believe that could be more dangerous. So for me, it's definitely more important to, you know, show her that emotional support, to maintain a good relationship with her, especially just in case of the event that something more sinister does occur in future. And then, you know, she's still got her family there, she's still got their close relationship, so that if it is really something that she needs to be pulled out of, then, you know, there's still that connection there, so that the mum's still in a position to do that. Okay. Damn, that one was a little bit different, huh? Like, not what I was expecting at all. Amma the asshole usually gets me fired up, but that was like, that was some fucking real shit right there, I'll tell you that, huh? Getting into some real shit. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Am I the asshole for kicking my sister out of my house after she defended my stepson? I saw a similar post a few hours ago and wanted to ask. It confuses me when people put my and then describe something, and I'm like, are you describing you, or are you describing the thing that you possess? That confuses me. Anyway, so, sorry. The poster is 22-year-old female, and her sister is a 28-year-old female. She's married a man twice her age, so the sister's 28 and married someone who's 50, who's a man. And she was the other woman for 2 years and got pregnant with my nephew, who's now a 1-year-old. His husband, ex-wife, so I stumble enough when I'm reading, so when things are written in a way that doesn't make grammatical sense, it confuses me more, and it, like, whatever. And again, no judgment, especially if people are writing like not in their first language. I get that, but just it confuses me, it throws me off, okay? I get distracted, ADHD. Okay, so the husband's ex-wife, okay. So the ex-wife of the sister's husband, who'd got cheated on, she obviously kicked the husband out, and also their oldest son, fuck's sake, this is so confusing. Their oldest son went with them. Okay, so OP is 22 years old, and she got a sister who's 28, and she was having an affair with some guy for 2 years, and he's 50 years old, and he already has a 20-year-old son. He was 18 at the time when they got together, and now the older man has left his now ex-wife, mother of the 20-year-old, and they're now together, and the sister is now, the sister then got pregnant, and now the sister and the older guy have a 1-year-old son together. So the guy now has 2 sons, one who's fully grown and another one who's still a baby. Are you with me? Oh my God. Okay. So I, OP, took them in, oh shit, okay. OP took them in 10 months ago after his wife won the house in the divorce because he was cheating on her. They asked to stay for 1 to 2 years until they're able to buy their own house. I said yes because I honestly don't mind. You don't mind 4 people moving in with you? Grown-ass adults. You're 22. Okay. I honestly don't mind. I love my nephew with all my heart, and my home, the family home. Okay, it's a big ass family home that the dad left to me. Is quite big. Okay. I'm with you. Things were okay. My sister's husband always paid rent on time. His son was actually helpful around the house. And as I said, I love my nephew, so I was happy to have him and my sister around. For some context, I'm a sex worker. OF. And in real life, OF. What's OF? Online following? I don't know. OP is a sex worker, and her sister knows about it, but never commented on it. But until recently, I didn't think her family, so OP didn't know that her sister's family knew about what she did for work, the sex work, until the following situation happened. This is so confusing. I feel like there should have been a video on its own just for the fucking setup. Okay, so my sister's stepson, whom I'll call Aaron, great names, awesome, always had a mess in his room, and it was okay, it's his space, but I didn't like it when I noticed he started to leave food and drinks around. I don't want rats or cockroaches in my house, so I asked him a bunch of times, gently, to please clean his room because it was unsanitary and we live with a baby. I think that's fair. He was like, yeah. His dad and my sister asked him to until he and I, the dad and OP, fought about it. Oh no. Until Aaron, the son, and OP fought about it. And I said that if his room wasn't clean before Sunday, I was going to do it myself and throw away everything I found on the floor. He didn't believe me, and neither did he clean. Okay, so she done give him an ultimatum. She like, look, I'm going out, okay? If your room ain't clean by the time I come inspect on Sunday, I'm going to throw all your shit out, okay? The floor is landfill. If you're shit on the floor, it's going in the bin. That's what she's saying, okay? And he's like, very good. Away you go. So I did. I hired someone and asked her to throw everything away, but to separate clothes in a bag and food in another. And when he came back and saw his room, he got so angry and said I had no right, that those things were his, that I threw away like 60% of his clothes and blah, blah, blah. Then he threatened to tell everyone that I was a whore. I was taken aback and asked what he meant, and he said that he found out what I did and that he was going to get a video, don't know how, and send it to my family because I was a bitch and that's how you teach a bitch how to behave. Motherfucker. Okay, so after that interesting one we just had, and I was like, they normally get me more fired up. Like that was... Bitch! Oh, this guy is an asshole. He's some 20-year-old child man boy fucking living off someone else rent-free, can't even be bothered keeping your room tidy. Now you're gonna fucking insult the person who's given you a place to live, call them a whore and a bitch, and saying you need to teach them how to be... Oh my God. That's disgusting. That is actually disgusting. I need to calm down. Fucking hell. Okay. He said that his room was cleaner than me when it was all fucked up and dirty. Boy, I'm gonna show you fucked up and dirty. Motherfucker. Needless to say, I kicked him out, and when my sister defended him, when my sister defended him and implied that I brought this on myself, I kicked all of them out too. Fucking good for you. Oh my God. They had to crash a few couches until her husband got an apartment, and she's claiming and telling everyone that I was an asshole. ETA, edit to add, I'm not asking for legal advice or if I was legally in the wrong. These motherfuckers. Oh, okay, recap, okay, because I know we stumbled quite a lot over like the opening of this and the context, right? Okay, so so we only got one name, so that's confusing to me. Okay, so let's call OP Olivia for O for Olivia. Let's call sister Sarah. The married man, the husband, what are we gonna call him? Hubert. Let's call him Hubert. The nephew in question, the 20-year-old, we're already calling him Aaron, and then the little baby boy, he's not really in the story, but I don't know, what do you want to call him? Should we call him something? Aaron and Xander. Fuck it. A to Z, right? Anyway, okay. So this is it. Okay. So Olivia is like, yo, can you help me out? Am I the asshole? Because I done let my sister Sarah and her husband Hubert come live with me for 1 to 2 years while they find some other place to live, because the situation that they're in is that Sarah, who is 2 years older, you know, Olivia's 22, oh no, Sarah's 28, so she's 6 years older, and she married Hubert, who's 50 years old. He already had a 20-year-old son with some other woman, was cheating on her. What's the other woman called? Doesn't matter. Was cheating on her with Sarah. She found out, she kicked them out, she got a divorce, and she's like, and I'm fucking keeping the house because fuck you. And then Hubert then moves out, goes and marries Sarah, and the son Aaron, who's like 20, is like, hold up dad, I'm gonna come with you. They, for some reason, decide not to find a place of their own at 28 and 50. Why do they not have any kind of means to string together a place of their own? I don't know, but they ask then to stay with Olivia, and she actually inherited a big family home from her dad, so she's like, yeah, fuck it, I've got space, come live with me, out of the fucking goodness of her heart, okay? I personally would have said, hell no, go find your own place. That's just me, okay? Like, I need my personal space. Anyway, so that was actually about 10 months ago, okay? So it's been almost a year. They've been staying with Olivia, and it's actually not been too bad. You know, Hubert's been paying the rent on time, so she's like, yeah, okay, no bother. And up until this point, Aaron has actually been quite helpful and stuff like that. And they've got a good relationship anyway, you know, so it's not like he's just always been some kind of a wee dick, a wee troublemaker stirring up shit or something like that. They were getting on. So Olivia's like, yeah, sure, come stay with me for a while. And then once you've saved it up, you can get a place of your own. Great. And then at some point, after 10 months, for some reason, Aaron is making a fucking mess in his room. And Olivia's like, hey, hon, could you clean up your room? Like, there's a lot of, like, food and crummies in there, and I just don't want, like, rats and cockroaches and stuff like that. Like, I'm not trying to live that life. Can you just, like, tidy up a little bit? He's like, yeah, whatever. Mum and Dad are also like, Aaron, clean your room, please. And he's just like, he's not doing it. 20 fucking years old. He's not a child. He's 2 years younger than OP. The nephew, who's been a dick and acting like a child, is 2 years younger than OP, who's fucking giving them a place to stay. Oh my god, that makes it even worse. Anyway, so he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm not cleaning my room. And Olivia's like, seriously, I've had enough. It's disgusting. Like, clean your room by Sunday, and if you don't do that, I'm gonna clean it and I'm gonna start throwing shit away. And he's like, yeah, very good, away you go. So she's like, okay, bitch. So Sunday comes and she's like calling up somebody. She's like, hey, home cleaning services, awesome, can you come over? Clean this specific room. Do me a favor though, put all the clothes and stuff in one bag, and then all the food and like wrappers and other crap, put that in another bag so we can just like immediately get rid of that, and then the closed ones will stay. Cleaner's like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Great. That's been done. Aaron comes home and he's raging and he's like, what the fuck have you done? You've thrown away 60% of my clothes. You had no room. You had no right to tidy up my fucking pigsty of a room after asking me nicely to do it several times. A room that's in your house that you're kindly letting me stay in. You have no right to do that. And then he's like, so he's threatening to like expose Olivia, so-called, calling her a whore because she's a sex worker. What I'm kind of missing though is, so he's threatening to do that. What would be the, like, what's the, or else? Do you know what I mean? Like, so she's already like cleaned up his stuff. He's already accusing her of throwing stuff away. Like, I don't know, does a threat need to be or else? Like, is it going to be like, either you do this or I'm going to expose you? Or can it just be That's it, I'm gonna expose you. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, so he's like, I'm going to expose you, I'm going to get a video and I'm going to send it to all your family and let them know that you're a sex worker because I'm a fucking asshole. That's not what he said, but that's what he said. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can communicate with more than just words, and he just fucking did it. That's how you teach a bitch how to behave. That's disgusting. That's actually like... What I'm thinking, right, because again, you know, we only know what we've been told from one perspective, and there's always more context, there's always more information, right? What I'm wondering, like, this guy's 20 years old, and he and Olivia have been getting on for this whole time. She loves her nephew, and he's been helping out and stuff like that. I'm wondering why now all of a sudden, like, one, his room's a fucking mess. Maybe it was always a mess, but it's just got a lot worse. But then more importantly, like, why is he now turning around and being so fucking truly disrespectful and just like an absolute piece of shit? Like, I'm wondering, is there something going on in his life that's making him just like, you know, flipping his shit, that it's not really about her, it's about something else, and he's just taking it out on her, you know what I mean? Just something to consider. But then, so Olivia's like, get out of my fucking house, which I fully support. Good for her. But then, needless to say, I kicked him out. And when my sister defended him and implied that I brought it on myself, I kicked them all out too. And they had to crash on a few couches until her husband got an apartment, and she's claiming and telling everyone that I was an asshole. And the question is, am I the asshole for kicking my sister out of my house after she defended her stepson? No. As I say, maybe like the son had, or maybe maybe Aaron had like something going on where he was just like, you know, it doesn't excuse it. Absolutely does not excuse what he did or said. But I'm just wondering, like, maybe he had something going on where he was just like, oh, you know, whatever, was taking it out on Olivia. But what is not then okay is then for Sarah, the sister, to be like, well, you know, what do you expect type of deal. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's kind of implying that it's on Olivia and she's defending the son and being like, well, yeah, he's right, you know, like, that's... No. I mean, the sister as well already knew what Olivia does for a living, so if she was going to be like super judgmental of her profession anyway, don't fucking come and ask to stay with me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, what the fuck is going on with her that she is then defending Aaron for playing this shit? And now she's going around bad-mouthing Olivia for letting her stay with her for 10 months and only kicking them out eventually after they both went and disrespected her. I don't know what Hubert's doing, what he's saying, but, you know, I'm assuming he's not just going to go stay there, or not continue to stay there while his wife and son have been kicked out, so he's obviously going to go too. But yeah, this is just ridiculous. I mean, as I say, what is going on in their life where someone who is almost 30 and someone who's 50, where they couldn't have just went and found their own place in the first place, so Olivia's already doing a fucking favour, and now they're acting as if like, oh, we have to like go and sleep on other couches, and we have to go and find a place to stay because she's kicked us out, she's so mean, like... No. OP's not the asshole, like... I'm trying to decide whether I should get into this whole thing of like disrespecting sex workers and calling them whores and stuff like that. Like, I guess this video is already pretty long and you can probably guess what my opinion is on that. So I won't go into detail, but I would say sex work is work, and you can't just go fucking disrespecting people, treating them like shit, like judging them, acting as if you're better than them, whilst also taking things from them just because of what they do for a living. Like, fuck you. No. It's not uncommon, but it's also not okay. Okay? That's what I got to say on that subject, alright? Fucking hell. This one, I'm really annoyed by that one. Alright. I guess I'll just go and wrap it up here, alright? Those were very interesting, very, very different scenarios, obviously. But yeah, I'm entertained. Are you? Let me know what you think about both of these things in the comments below, what you think about my response and my opinions on these things. Really interested to know, because I feel like a lot of these ones that we've just so happened to pick as well, like they're covering like quite interesting, quite controversial topics. So I'm really interested to know what you think as well. Like, do you agree with me? Am I on my own out here? Let me know what you think. If you liked the video, like it, share it, subscribe for more shit like this. And if there's anything actually that you've seen that you want me to respond to, anything in particular that you want to know my opinion about, then go ahead and let me know. And maybe I will take a look and do a video on that too. All right, I think I'm ready to go about the rest of my day. I honestly think, like, as I say, you know, I've got ADHD, and I honestly think like making these videos is a really good tool for me to kind of like kick myself into being able to do whatever else it is that I need to do next. I think that's so interesting. Maybe I'll even do something around that on my other channel where I do talk a lot then about ADHD, mental health and jaw surgery. So go and check out the stuff on that as well if you want. Thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.